Monday, September 4th, 2023, here with your live show. We're live 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You know, some months they just crawl by. Other months it's like, I can't believe it's the 4th already. Just moved right through it. College football action. Of course, Labor Day here in the U.S., so a lot of people have the day off. Some people don't. I never get the day off, so I don't know what that's all about. But, anyways, it usually means daytime weekday sports is what holidays in the U.S. usually mean. And today, no different. We have some daytime baseball. We've got the last college football game of the weekend is tonight. Chris, over the weekend, I'll go through a couple observations. Chris, what's your number one from the weekend? What was your favorite highlight of the weekend, like for college football?
Probably, and we saved it for Sunday night, but just how much LSU has to really fix. I mean, Florida State absolutely took over.
Well, I don't think it's LSU having to fix. I think what you have here is just a beatdown of beatdowns with an overrated team, an overrated coach, and an overrated conference. I mean, I was going to go to the same game, and I just think what you see there is just, the SEC keeps getting all this credit like they just win every single year, but the reality of it is they don't. And it's, Clemson has whipped Alabama a few times in the big game as well. The SEC always seems to be a factor there. They're certainly in it every single year. Certainly it goes through the SEC, but at the same time, oh man, that was just a beatdown of beatdowns. And Brian Kelly, once again, no answers in the big game. When the going gets tough, he gets run over. It reminded me a lot of that Alabama-Notre Dame national championship game where he got run over in that game, where at halftime he was just like in shock. He didn't even know what to say. This game, he actually had the lead at halftime, and Florida State came out, and oh my God, it was they were dancing.
It was like, it was like what, 31-7 in the second half or something like that.
Yeah, you can't decide. National championships are not decided in the opening weekend. But, and the thing is that as the season moves on, LSU is going to win some big games. They're going to knock off some of those teams in the SEC, and they'll act like this game never happened, is the way that this generally works. Jay, observations on last night?
Florida State is good. I think Florida State, out of all of the games I watched this weekend, I watched more college football this weekend than ever before. I would say Florida State was probably the second best performance I saw all weekend, right behind Colorado.
I tell you this much, Jay. Florida State would whoop Colorado's ass. It wouldn't even be a game. And Deion Sanders, I think to me
teams in two different spaces.
But it's not. It's all one space. There's only one championship, and that's all these teams care about. A team like Florida State, it's either national championship or the season was a disaster, and that's how it works in college football. The same with Miami. You could say, oh, the team's been lousy these whole years. Believe me, the standard is to win the national championship, and there is no, oh, we had a good season. In the SEC, some teams like Florida believe that winning the SEC title is the pinnacle of their season, but not for the rest of the really big teams. The idea is to win the national, like Ohio State, they got to beat Michigan, winning the Big Ten title, and they have different things. But for a team like Florida State, a team like Miami, it's win the national championship or the season was a failure. And it's like Deion Sanders. I think this whole Colorado thing, it's like that Deion Sanders, he's an HBCU coach that worked. It's like bullshit. This guy played at Florida State, man. It's like you played at Florida State. You got an HBCU job because that was the coaching job you had available. It could have easily have been, East Texas State. It could easily have been any of these other schools. It's just that was the situation, the best job that you were given. It's like it's not an HBCU thing. It's a coach thing and a team thing. And I think, that part of it is way overblown here. And I think what we're going to see is Colorado go through some really tough growing pains as the season goes on.
So what are your thoughts on Colorado? What do you think they finish season-wise? I want to get it off your chest right now.
I think season-wise, I think they have a chance to be a bowl team.
I think that's If that's what you think, I think that's a failure for this team. I do. I think this team has legitimate.
It'd be a massive, massive victory for this team to be a bowl team.
I think
massive
that's a failure. I think that'd be a failure in this team's eyes. I think we got
no,
low.
No way. No way.
We saw. I think people forget. We saw TCU go to the national championship game last year.
Yeah, but this was not the same TCU team. It was clearly not the same TCU team that went to the championship game.
I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that was Sonny Dykes' first year at TCU. So it's not like we haven't seen.
Florida State will score 100 on them.
We will
USC is going to score 60, 70 points on these guys.
You're going to
see them get undressed.
Right back on
no, they're not.
Yeah,
they're not.
Here's the issue. I think
because nobody saw the film on these guys. So it's kind of like a pitcher that nobody sees the film on. Then all of a sudden, these guys get the film. They know their tendencies, and
people just didn't go watch the film. If you want to go there, we can go there. The film was out there, and these guys.
The film was not there. And I'm telling you,
Shedeur Sanders is like that. Travis Hunter is like that. Jimmy Horn is like that. Weaver is like that.
Jay, you clearly know zero about college football. That's all I gotta say.
No, I'm just telling you. I think many people will be wrong, and this Colorado team will continue to shock the world.
I don't think so.
On the hype train, and I'm going to continue to ride it. It is.
I don't think so.
At Nebraska this week, if you take Nebraska this week, you are a fool. I'm sorry. I'm taking Colorado straight up money line.
Yeah, and that's what all the public squares are going to be saying.
And I tell you that, and the same thing I tell everybody else: the public wins 50% of the time. They're 50-50. The public covers the spread. The public is not as dumb as people want to believe nowadays. They're not. They're just not.
Yeah,
the public watches.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
All right. If you look at their schedule, right? I honestly look at the schedule.
Let's go through it.
At home against Nebraska.
Loss.
Dub. That is a dub.
Loss.
Okay. At home against Colorado,
who couldn't score against Minnesota. Did you watch the Nebraska game? Their one touchdown. Their one touchdown was a trick play. It was a trick play. You think that's gonna go work? No, it's not gonna work. It's not. It's not gonna work.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. And then
young grasshopper. Not my first rodeo, buddy. Not my first college football. Believe me, there was a Colorado team. Trust me on this one. You can go look this up. There was a Colorado team that was woofing shit. They won the national championship, a split national championship. Oh, we're the man. We're the man. We're the man. You know what happened in that game? The We're the Man game. You know what happened in the man game?
This is different.
Jay,
this is a new era of college football.
Oh, it's not a new. That's what they said. The same thing. They said the same thing, man.
This is a new era of college football.
Oh my God!
2 years ago with the transfer portal, we have seen teams do 180s in 1 year. Florida State did a 180. This team is going to be good this year. Colorado, they're going to be great. We saw USC do it. We saw TCU do it. We'll see though. It's early. It's week 1. Happy Monday morning. Football is back.
No chance. I'm gonna go on a limb and say zero chance of that happening.
So the rest of the schedule.
Yeah, let's look at the rest of the schedule.
Okay. And then at home against Colorado State.
Loss.
Dub.
At Oregon.
Loss. Oh my God, dub. I'll bet you everything.
I said L at Oregon. L at Oregon right now. But
I thought you said
to cover the point spread easily.
Oh my God.
At home against USC.
Loss.
Will be the best quarterback in that football game. He's better than Bo Nix. I'm sorry.
Loss.
Next.
At Arizona State.
Loss.
Home against Stanford.
Dub.
Loss.
All right. Let's move on to baseball. Mitch is just all right.
At UCLA.
Loss.
That's what we're finna do this year. Okay.
Home against Arizona State.
Maybe that one they get.
Dub.
Senior day at home against Arizona.
That's a win.
And they close out the year at Washington State and at Utah.
All right, so I got 4 and 8. I think hard pressed, Chris, for the 6 wins in a bowl team. I think they're going to be hard pressed for that 6 wins.
You know what? I'm going to say 7 and 5.
I'm going to say 6. I'm going to say 6 and 6, and that's going to take some bounces to get there.
I'm not being. I need to see them. I know they just beat TCU, but the defense also gave up 42 points in that game. So I got to see them against a team like Oregon, USC, UCLA, these teams that can put points on the board. Defense is going to be optional. Total's probably going to be set at 85 in that UCLA game, but I don't know. I think
I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go out and just do it, man. I see 2 losses on this schedule.
Oh my god!
Maybe not even that. Maybe. Not
even my god! Oh my god!
Jay is going to be the reason that we have to start peeing in a cup before we come on the morning show.
Oh my god!
I'm now on this show, man, because we need a pulse of the young nation to tell y'all that the tide is turning and that it's a new era of college football, and we're going to make a lot of money betting this Colorado team.
We're going to make a lot of money betting against teams like this. By October, Chris, by October,
that are in that old style of thinking where they can't fathom that this team went from 1-11 to a national power in 1 year because of one man. But I'm here to tell you, it's that time.
I'm going to tell you that in college football, it takes 4 to 5 years to build a program. I'm going to tell you that. It takes 4 to 5 years. The great ones, it takes 4 to 5 years. It takes Nick Saban 4 to 5 years to build a program.
More.
Yes, it does.
More.
Yes, it does.
Anymore.
Yes, it does.
Not anymore.
Yes, it does.
Not anymore.
Yes, it does.
Not anymore.
All right, we'll see. Because as hard as Colorado hit the transfer portal, Miami got way better players than they did. So that means that Miami should win the national championship this year. They got way better recruits and a way better in the portal. So that means Miami should win the national championship because they got way better players than Colorado did in the portal. Way better. And they have a coach that's been there and done that, you know?
Fair enough.
So, I mean, I just think that Colorado way overblown. I think we'll be having this discussion I think the discussion in October, is going to be that we're finally getting some value on Colorado again because they've been slaughtered so many times. And I think that's really what's going to happen. I think that, it's a monumental win to go out and get that win. But if they went 1-11, I don't think anyone would be really shocked. And I think that's really the bottom line with that. I think when you look at some of these other teams and some of these other programs across the nation, they're just miles ahead of them. And I think when you play against a team where there really isn't the tendencies, there really isn't all those different things, it's definitely harder. And it's like you see a young pitcher come up and his first outing, it's like at the beginning of the year, they start off and it's like, wow, this guy's really good. What's the guy on the Reds, Chris, that was like killer, right? Oh, what was his name?
De La Cruz.
No, the pitcher. The pitcher. The one that he had like a 2 ERA going into like last month. It's like,
Abbott.
Yeah, then the film is out on him and it's like they figure him out. Just like Daisuke Matsuzaka, they figured out. They figure them all out. There always is. Let me explain to you how this works. The guys who do this for a living, they figure this stuff out. And they will figure this stuff out in a hurry. And then what happens? One guy figures it out, and they all figure it out. And we've seen it a million times. The spread offense, right? No one had ever seen the spread offense before. Remember, what was his name? The guy that played on the Cowboys, the running back from Arkansas. He started the Wildcat formation at Arkansas. Oh, man, how are we going to stop the Wildcat? They stopped it. And believe me, they come up with ways. And they just haven't seen these guys. I'm not saying Colorado doesn't have talented players. They do. I just think what's going to happen is they're soft on the defensive line. They're going to get run over. And we'll see how they play off the pace when they have to come from behind. Let's see how they do when their character is tested in that way. My guess is they're not going to have the answers. I think they're talented. I think they're headed in the right direction. I think all that stuff. I think you're way ahead of yourself on this one.
I don't think so. And then I'll be done. I think you have a slight argument with their offensive line and defensive line.
Where the games are won and lost.
Hold on, may not be the best in the country, but what I did see from them this past week was they can create a push offensively, and defensively they need some work. But what I will say is skill position wise, I will take Colorado with any team in the nation. Any team in the nation. I'm taking Shedeur Sanders on Heisman watch. He threw for 500 yards. I'm taking Travis Hunter and Jimmy Horn, and I'm taking that running back over any skill positions in the nation. And it is what it is. Now, when it comes down
I think your thin knowledge of college football is getting in the way of reality.
When they go play USC, and it's gonna be an absolute shootout. I don't think that's past.
I don't think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a lot like last night's game is what it's going to be like.
Right.
And yes, it is. It's going to be worse probably.
Okay. Colorado or Alabama?
Alabama. Wide receivers. How about the wide receivers at Alabama versus Colorado? Alabama. How about the wide receivers for LSU versus Alabama? LSU versus Colorado. LSU. How about the receivers versus, they have talented players, but it's not just about that. You have to have depth on these teams and all those things. It takes years to build that. It takes years of recruiting and years of getting your players in, and that's why they always say it's a 5-year plan. We're year one of a 5-year plan. Mario Cristobal, what did he say after the Miami of Ohio game? He said, this is what we want to see. Oh, my God.
Colorado's plan was go win a national championship.
Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face, right? So we'll see what happens,
it's
man.
Like TCU got punched in the mouth, and we cashed our plus 700, plus 800, some of us. Now, like I told Chris,
I've cashed way bigger than that.
I know you had way bigger last year. I remember.
I show you my ticket right here.
I know, but
normally on a 20.5 point spread, I have a ticket on my phone that I'll show you. On a 20.5 point spread, normally the money line on a game like that is over plus 1,000 on a money line. That's how it was a good win. We give it to them. Congratulations. But they don't win. You don't win championships in September. And I think that what we'll see is that Hunter is outstanding. He's everything he was built to be last year when he was coming in. He was this guy, he was a can't miss prospect, and I'll tell you what, he can't miss. I've seen better prospects than him, but not even all that often. The best prospect I've ever seen at the college level, the best college player that there's ever been is Deion Sanders. Is the best college player there's ever been. I think most people that have watched the game before would agree with that.
And I think you're doubting the fact that a lot of the top tier talent would want to go play for that man right there, Deion Sanders. I think you're doubting that. And you're doubting his charisma. You're doubting everything that he's selling.
But I think what you're doubting, but is he?
And that's okay. We have a ton of homes.
We have. Wait a minute. Whoa. What about Texas? What about Texas we have?
No. See, this is why I love having the DM. Romanelli asked me who's my team this year. And he'll tell you, I told him
if you have a team this year, if you just have a team this year, then you do not understand college football.
I don't. And I'll be the first to tell you.
College football is for most people, it's in your blood. Like,
it's not in mine.
Right. So your team is in your blood. So jumping from team to team, you're going to have a different team. You're going to be like the same guys that say in November, Joe Burrow is going to win the Heisman, the year that he won the Heisman. It's like, who cares, man? It's like, because this team is not going to get you to the promised land. This team, more than likely, is going to get you to the carb bowl, whatever it is. They're going to get you to the Cheez-It bowl. On a good day, man. On a good day, that's where you're going with this team. On a good day, on the sunniest day, man, in the history of the earth, that's where you're going with this team. You're going to the Pool and Weed Eater Bowl, man. That's where you're going.
# we coming.
To the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
I think the Duke's Mayo Bowl might be a little bit out of reach for this team. I don't know, man. I was just glad to see the ACC beat the crap out of the SEC in a couple games.
Jay tried to give Mills a run for his money with the amount of favorite teams he's got.
Hey, man, we coming.
Anyways.
Yep, Jared Buffalo had coming soon. It's ordered. It's on the way.
Well, the beauty of this argument is it will be settled on the field over the course of the season. And I got news for you. I've forgotten more about college football than you guys know. So it's like I feel pretty good about this. I do. I think it was a great win. I think it was a monumental win. I think all the things that Jay says about recruiting and all those other things, yeah. But I'll tell you what. This is a different world in recruiting, and it comes down to money. Whoever's going to pay you the most is where you're going to go. And these other schools, they have a lot of money too, man. It's like, it's not just about playing for this guy. Only 24 guys get to play. There's a whole nother thing. And then there's the guys, they want to stay home. You know, you have the guys that want to stay home. You have the guys whose parents played for this school. You have this and that and everything. I mean, there is so many factors. I think he's done a great job in the short amount of time for one game. But I think you're way I think you're way overstating TCU for this season. I think you give Colorado credit where credit is due. I think you also say, well, TCU probably has a lot of freaking work to do this season, and I think they're going to struggle to make a bowl game.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's just like us saying at Miami, we blew out Miami of Ohio, so now we're going. You know, it's like we'll beat Florida State, but that's about it. We'll beat
Y'all
Florida
are going
State.
to lose to Florida State, and Colorado's.
You know nothing about college football, man.
Ooh.
You know
let me not
nothing.
get in there. Let me chill. All right, let's get. Let me.
Well, you know nothing. I mean, if you can fly off the cuff and say that Florida State's going to beat Miami or whatever, then you clearly don't understand the game. Because those two teams, when Miami's been at the lowest of the low, and Florida State, or when Florida State's at the lowest of the low,
I'll be the first to tell you I don't, and we'll see come win all these football games.
So when it's
I'm just going off straight, what are the what I've seen thus far? And
well, what's the historically when Florida State's played Miami in a game with the chips on the table over the last 50 years? What's Florida State's record in those games?
Mitch, you got me there. I'm saying I'm just telling you what I saw. With
wide
my
right
eyes
1,
on
wide right 2, wide right 3, wide left, and wide right 4. Then you also had, oh my God, the massacre game when Florida State was ranked number 1 in the nation, and Miami went into Florida State on opening night, which would have been like last night's game. Went into Tallahassee and beat them 31-0. Shellacked them. Same thing they did to Colorado when they were number 1. When they won the national championship, their first game was against Miami at Folsom Field. Miami went in there. They beat the crap out of them. Colorado was crying like little babies. They started throwing punches, and then Miami beat the crap out of them again physically. And it was like, and then what did they do? They dropped the series, man. And then they finally played again. So it was game 1 of the series was in 1990. They didn't play game 2 of the series that was supposed to be the following year. They didn't play that game for another 20 years. The kicker on the Packers, what's his name? The guy who's been on the Packers like 100 years, that kicker?
Mason Crosby.
Mason Crosby kicked a 70-yard field goal in that game. And that was the only points that Colorado scored because everyone was still pissed about the other game, even though it was 20 years later. That's how college football is. It's like, because when teams drop, that's what they do. When you get good, they drop you from the schedule. This is what happens. Like, that's the way college football works. Anyways, nice little program we got, sir. Got some. I'm just excited that Jay actually likes college football because this is the type of emotion that runs through in college football. But you can't team jump. You know, either they're your team or you're not your team.
I don't have a team though. That's the thing.
Well, then you can't. They have no say. You have no say. If you have no team, you have no say. Because I'm telling you, Chris knows he's been doing. Chris, how many years have you been doing college football with me?
Well, on camera, this will now be what, 3?
No, but I mean in general, like writing games or whatever.
Oh, writing, 7 years.
7 years. How many of your articles or videos have a fan base cracked you just a little bit of leeway or anything at all, like with not knowing anything about what you're talking about,
Absolutely
or like
not.
anything, zero. It is the one sport where there's no wiggle room. It's cut and dry. There's no gray area in between, man. It is it is like me. I'm from Miami. I love Miami. That means I hate Notre Dame. I hate Ohio State, and I hate Florida. And my favorite teams are whoever's playing those guys. And if they play against each other, I just root for a lot of injuries and penalties, and that's it.
Me, I live in Dallas, Texas, where there is no major college.
SMU, man.
I mean,
Ponies.
yeah, but I'm 23. They've been trashed my whole lifetime, so we've never had a reason to cheer for them.
Well, that's why you have UT, man.
We're a pro
UT.
city team. I mean, UT, that's 3 hours away. So, I mean, I like Texas.
Believe me, in most states, they'll drive 6 hours to go to the game.
I like these teams, but we're a pro city town. I bleed Cowboys, Rangers, and Mavs mainly. And then college, I cheer for who's good that year. And this year, I jumped on before, so I'm not a bandwagon. I jumped on before. I called it from the start. I like Colorado.
So you got a game right. So you're jumping on their team. I mean, hold on a second. I called it before, so now I'm on.
I said before I was on Colorado. Before the game even started, I was taking Colorado for the season.
So to Mitch's point about how like diehard people can be, and Mitch, I don't know if you remember this. Last year, I think it was, to start the season, I wrote an article about North Texas, or it might have been 2 years ago, and someone wrote a scathing email because I got the quarterback wrong from North Texas because he wasn't on the team anymore. He had graduated, and I actually wrote that he was. I thought he was back. Oh my God! It's like it was like I crucified somebody, and it's just people. Yeah, people. You're born into it. It's part of your DNA, and it's just one of those things that just like it's just second nature. And I don't know. I'm Canadian. Only reason I got
behind the scenes quickly. You ready? Me and Ron the Don on Thursday. What that say right there?
So you picked the game right. It doesn't really matter. Here's my ticket from Iowa, Ohio State, man.
It's my team this year.
Where I won $38,000 hitting a money line bet, at 21.5 point dog that won outright. It doesn't make them your team.
My team.
College football doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. I'm not going to allow it to work like that. It just doesn't work like that. College football nation it deserves more.
Fair.
Jay, it was lovely having you, and it was lovely just the idea of you having your own show was great, but don't worry, we'll take care of the NBA and the NFL for you. It's not a big deal, no problem.
Oh man, I had to get him on this early Monday morning. Man, this football's back, man. We're about
Monday,
to
this is the time you choose.
Yeah,
this is the time you choose.
Yeah, no, I had to get him, man. I had to get him
on a Monday morning.
Yeah, start the week off with a bang. We got NFL this week, man. I'm feeling great. A lot of great content coming soon, man. Football is back out of the dog days of summer. You done yelling at me, Mitch? We good?
I'm not yelling at you. I'm just flabbergasted that you would even go that far, because I will bet you that Colorado either goes 6-6 and barely squeaks into a bowl, or doesn't make a bowl at all.
All right, we can bet it.
All right, let's bet it.
Bet it.
That's what I'll go out on that statement. That I believe even if they win this week against Nebraska, I still believe, this week's game I believe is coin toss. But I think all the value will be on the other side. But it's like I think that either they don't go to a bowl game at all, or they go in at like 6-6. I think they're going to get hammered in a lot of these games. I think like Utah, the line's going to be like 26.5.
So we'll set the win total for your guys' bet at what, 6.5?
Yeah, well, let's set the win total for 6.5. I'll take the under.
I'm going over.
All right. What's the bet?
Whatever.
Peppermint.
We coming.
Peppermint pancakes. Stack of pancakes at the Peppermill.
Let's
The
do
bagel
it.
and the fruit cup.
Yeah. All right. And for Ruffolo, the waffle with the fruit.
Fair.
French toast.
When will we? Let me see. Oh yeah, so we'll know early. So bet. I was gonna say because we were talking about March Madness, all of us going. So we'll know for sure about all then. But cool.
Oh yeah.
We gotta get Chris to Vegas before that.
I'll be there this week.
I know.
All right, 2 more ACC teams. It was a banner week in the ACC for this weekend, knocking around the SEC. We had North Carolina beating up on South Carolina, and then, of course, last night, the epic beatdown of beatdowns. But really, when it comes to who's ruled the roost in the ACC, it has been the Clemson Tigers, and the title goes again through Death Valley this year. Kupnick takes over at quarterback full time. We saw DJU yesterday for Oregon State, but Clemson, a little bit different story there. Dabo, a guy who's really not afraid to pull guys in and out of the lineup, man. It's like, I understand you're my starting quarterback. I have a seat over here. He, when he does it, it's a big deal. But when Nick Saban does it, it's not a big deal, even though Nick Saban does it in the second half of the national championship game, right? Anyways, the thing is Clemson, super duper talented, but the line, kind of going the opposite direction. Duke, not generally a great home field advantage, that's for sure. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm big on returning production, and this Duke team has a ton of returning production. But the problem I have is that it's returning production from a Duke team that only played 3 games against teams with winning records outside of their bowl game last year, so they weren't overly battle tested. They're a solid team. I think they're still going to have some success in 2023, but this Clemson team, they keep reloading, and even then, they've still got a lot of returning production themselves, especially on defense. And, we talked earlier about, teams that consider their season playoffs or a failure, and Clemson back-to-back years without the playoffs. I think there's just been some disappointment. I don't think Dabo Swinney going to take his foot off the gas in week 1. I think Clemson comes out, makes a statement here. I'm going to go Clemson laying the points on the road.
Do you think Duke could beat Colorado?
I think they give them a game.
Jay, what do you think? Colorado or Duke?
Colorado, but I'm taking Duke here in this football game. Clemson is bringing a lot of people back, but I'm not high on this Clemson team. I think they're overrated. I do, and I think Duke is slightly underrated. I think Duke hit the transfer portal pretty good. I think they're going to compete here in this football game. I know Clemson, on paper, you would think are the better team. Return a lot of production, older guys as well. They look like a really solid team, and I get all that, but they're not 13 points better than Duke. I'm telling y'all right now, they're not. And I'm taking the Blue Devils here, and I wouldn't even be surprised in any capacity if Duke won this game outright.
Okay, I'm going to take Clemson. I'm going to lay the extended here. I think we could lay probably 40 or 50 points in this thing. Dabo Swinney, not a take your foot off the gas type of guy. We saw it last year against Georgia Tech when he put Kupnick in at the end of the game and then said, well, he really needed some work. Coach, what did you think about being up by 100 and scoring a touchdown? He's like, well, he really needed some work, whatever. I didn't even really think about that part. Is that what he said, Chris? I didn't really even think about that part, was his answer. Duke sucks, man. I got news for you. These guys are really just not really in the same league as the Clemsons and Florida States and Miamis of the world. They never have been. I think when you see in the ACC, it's basically very top-heavy conference. And, I could see like where NC State at home might have a puncher's chance against Clemson if they get the right weather and the right bounces. But really, Clemson is a national championship playoff caliber program. Duke is like Colorado, hoping to barely make it to a bowl game if they can get there, is a remarkable accomplishment. If anyone's playing in the Mayo Bowl, it's going to be the Blue Devils. I think Clemson's got a shot for the CFP, as they always do going into the season. I don't think they're overrated by any stretch of the imagination. Dabo Swinney, when you look at traditional recruiting classes, he always is top 3, 4, 5. You want to talk about coaches and recruiting and all that other stuff? Oh, yeah, take a look at this guy's trophy case and tell me this guy can't recruit. I mean, he took over for Tommy Bowden. Who could even remember this, right? Who I had got my first death threat online ever was when I said that Tommy Bowden would be fired as the head coach of Clemson before the end of October. Clemson was ranked number 9 in the country at the time, starting the season. He was out, Dabo Swinney was in, and the rest is history, and this Clemson team hasn't looked back once. Look at the talent that's come through Clemson. It's no coincidence that this team continues to win. Look at the NFL wide receivers that have gone to Clemson. It is up and down the NFL roster, not the bums either. We're talking about the big, heavy hitter receivers. Look at the running backs that have gone to Clemson. Look at Trevor Lawrence, who went to Clemson. Look at some of these other guys that have gone to Clemson. I mean, there's Deshaun Watson. I mean, they have always have star players in Clemson. One of my favorite videos I ever did was when I was doing my video. Do you remember this one, Chris? I did the dog of the day in front of the Rock at Clemson, and the security came and escorted me out. It was definitely, they didn't want me anywhere near that thing. It was just like they had it under a plexiglass, like when it's not the game day, they have the Rock under the plexiglass so you can't touch it, and with gates and locks around it, so you can't get anywhere near the thing. They still removed me from the site. They still didn't want me anywhere near the thing. They were smart, but I had it all on tape because I was doing my dog of the day back then at the Rock. But anyways, I just think what you have here is the haves versus the have-nots. And you've got that Clemson, how many first-round draft choices, like in the last 20 years, how many 10 years? How many first-round draft choices Clemson had in the last 10 years? I think Duke's had 1, right? Daniel Jones. But I think outside of that, how many first-round draft choices Clemson had in the last? We could look this up. Chris, how many do you think it's going to be? Over, under 15? You're muted, I think. $31. Oh, wait. No, that's not it. It is 38. Miles Murphy and Brian Bresci did 2 last year. So Clemson has had 38 first rounders. But some of these go a little further back. But in the last, since in the Dabo era, it's been, let me see. In the Dabo era, it's been, so they've had a lot, a real lot. Bresci, Murray, Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence. Then they had A.J. Terrell, Isaiah Simmons, Dexter Lawrence, Christian Wilkins, Clellan Ferrell, Deshaun Watson, Mike Williams, Shaq Lawson. Yeah, it's an amazing number they have. And if you look at just their NFL players, I think they have like 60. So I think you're talking about an NFL team versus a college team. And I like Clemson. Big, big, big.
Fair enough. Duke fuck around, mess around and money line these boys.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I think so.
Dabo Swinney is a big game coach. He loves these circumstances. Anyways, Royals versus White Sox. White Sox, 3rd worst record in baseball this season. Chris, who do you like, the White Sox or Colorado?
It's a coin flip. It's a coin flip.
This is a coin flip. Number of wins this season. I like White Sox. It's gonna
Number
be
of
close.
wins. Who's got more? Number of wins for the White Sox the rest of the season, or Colorado?
How about Jay Schlottens versus Colorado for Cole Reagans versus Colorado? Jay, this is you.
I'm gonna lean towards the Royals in this one. Schlottens is terrible, and Raggins just won. What do you want? AL Pitcher of the Month. Kind of crazy that he pitched really well in the month of August. And it's kind of crazy that my Rangers were the one that traded him to the Royals for Chapman, who has been disgusting. But Raggins, I didn't think he was that good. He really wasn't pitching that well when he was here, but he's been pitching fairly well in Kansas City, and I think we probably see him pitch well again today. I think that the White Sox probably continue to free fall. I don't want to touch them on the road. I know the Royals are just as bad at home, but I think the spot sets up for them here. I'm going to take them on the money line.
White Sox.
Royals.
All right. I'm taking the White Sox. I take them every day. Homer pick. Really not a lot else behind it. It's just the Royals in the home favorite role. I think 0-5 in their last 5. So I'll take the White Sox in this one. Is it 0-5 or 0-6? Something like that. But either way, I'll take the White Sox. Chris?
Yeah, I'm going to lean towards the Royals here as well. I don't love the price with the Royals, but Cole Reagans, actually the AL pitcher of the month. He's been pitching really well. I think he does enough here. My only concern is that the White Sox have gotten back to hitting lefties pretty well. But I just think that Reagans probably does enough here to help guide the Royals to a win. So I'm going to take the Royals in this one.
Jake?
If you went first.
All right. Colorado or Nebraska? I'm going to really have a good time with this one. I'm sorry. What's the line on that thing now? Colorado, Nebraska.
Like the 3 for Colorado.
I think it might be Romanelli's game of the century. Got the Giants against the Cubs. The Giants had that really good road record, man, but that's really come and gone. They have not been that road team that they were earlier.
This one's you.
Me?
Yep.
Oh, man, I hate taking Steele, and I hate I got it. Well, I always take the Giants, right? So it makes it pretty easy for me. Webb has really not come through for them, but it's, even with that 9-11 record, he still only has a 3.49 ERA. The Giants are get your uniform dirty type of team. I think they get the uniforms just dirty enough here. I'm going to take the Giants. Chris?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Cubs here. The Cubs just win with Justin Steele at home. I think they've won 11 of his last 12 starts. Logan Webb just been a different pitcher on the road. I think the Cubs do enough against him, enough against righties here to get the job done. The Giants have been better against left-handed pitching, but I still think the Cubs get it done here. I've been burned too many times by the Giants to back them here. So give me the Cubs at a reasonable price with their ace.
Is Daniel Jones playing for Duke tonight?
I bet they wish he was. No, actually,
Best
Riley Leonard's actually been pretty good.
Listen, do you think Daniel Jones is the best quarterback in Duke history or the second best? Because they also had Dave Brown, who was taken in the first round of the supplemental draft by Bill Parcells. Remember him?
Yeah.
Dave Brown. He was under Spurrier when Spurrier was coaching Duke. Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think this guy says 42-17 SC country, 42-17 Clemson. I think it might even be worse than that, to be honest with you. But I think that's about the range of something like this. They beat us by about 60 last year. They beat the crap out of us.
They weren't even that good.
Well, they had quarterback problems last year.
Yeah.
They couldn't make up their mind. Dabo kind of had that loyalty to DJU, and then finally, and everyone knew Klubnik was kind of beating down his was kind of breathing down his neck. So it was like nobody could do anything. But actually, Clemson's got another quarterback behind him that's like supposed to be even better. So who the hell knows?
And this one, I'm gonna take the Cubs at the crib in Wrigley. The Giants, man, like Mitch said, they were hot on the road early, but they've kind of came back to earth recently, and Steele has been absolute money in Wrigley this year, and the price is actually a decent price to take the Cubs in their spot with Steele. So I'm not going to overcomplicate this one. I think that he continues to look good at home, and I think the Cubs get a much-needed win at home. I'm going to take them on the money line in this one.
All right. Oh. Chris, Rangers, Astros, Jay's other team. This is Andrew Heaney on the bump today. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
who's the backup quarterback on Colorado in case something happens to that Shakur Sanders? What does that look? What does the depth chart look like over there?
I haven't even looked, to be honest.
I mean, of course, you don't ever hope something happens to a guy like that. Yeah. I'm just saying, usually teams like this have very, very little depth. But it's a long season. You only root for injuries and penalties when it's Notre Dame, Florida, or Ohio
State. For this one, I'm going to go with the Houston Astros in this one. This is a massive series on both sides, but Andrew Heaney, just not the guy I want to have for the Rangers in a high leverage situation like this. The Astros have been hitting lefties well for the last month, for the better part of the season, actually. And JP France, while he's had his issues, he pitched much better on the road this season. The ERA just over 2. I favor the Astros bullpen here as well, so I'm going to take the Astros to win game 1 here.
I see London, I see pants.
And I see a lot of squares finna take the Astros here in Texas today, man, and they finna take a straight L. I'm taking Andrew Heaney and the Rangers, man, and I actually think the best pitcher to start off this series is Andrew Heaney. Now, goddamn, did I just say that? I did, but here's why. Because Andrew Heaney has actually been really solid. He's won 5 of his last 7. He's also went 5 innings, 5 hits, no earned in his last inning. And guess what, man? This guy has been absolute money this year against this same Houston Astros team. There's a reason I say that. So he went 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, 0 earned runs earlier this year, the last time they played, when he was on the bump. The time before that, against this same Astros team, he went 5 innings, gave up 2 hits, no earned against this same Astros team. So that's back-to-back no earned games against this same Astros team. And the game before that against this Astros team was another solid game. So all I've seen is solid games from Andrew Heaney versus this Houston Astros team. The Rangers won in dramatic fashion yesterday off the walk-off. I do believe in momentum carries forward into the next day. We just saw Houston struggle mightily in a must-win situation against a team that is having its worst season in franchise history in the Yankees, dropped back-to-back, and I think they dropped 3 straight here. I'm taking the Rangers at the great price at home, where they are now damn near 20 games above 500.
Does Andrew Heaney have a chance of beating the Houston Astros? About the same chance as Colorado winning 7 games. I'm going to take the Astros in this one. I think this one's pretty easy. Just one team going in one direction and one team going in the other direction.
That's not true. They're both in the same direction. It's a game separated. They both
One team was way out in first, and one team wasn't.
Nah, they've been treading water both about the last 2 weeks.
I'm talking about the body of work, the general trend here.
Right now, who wins this division?
Astros.
Chris?
Seattle.
Rangers.
See, we all disagree, but here's my reasoning. So at least I have reasoning besides I'm a Ranger fan or I'm square. It's my reasoning is this. Okay, the Rangers and Astros play 7 of their last 10 games of the season against each other. All the Astros got to do is poke their head in there. That's all they got to do because they're going to beat the crap out of each other, and it's like neither of them. All the Astros have to do is get through it. When those two teams are beating up on each other, all they have to do is poke through, and once they're through, then the other teams will take care of each other, and that's it. They coast all the way to the finish.
What do they have to do?
Poke the head through. Okay, asshole. We're gonna be muting your ass for the rest of the show. Don't you have the meat sweats or something?
Yeah, I do right now. I'm dying right now.
Everyone knows I can dish it out, but can't take it. Stop picking on Mitch. No one ever says that.
That's why I can't really laugh today. Because if I start laughing, I'm gonna have like a coughing fit.
Ruffolo's gonna have like a whole following. Like that's like when on Sauce, right? The prop beaver, like he's gonna be on the show with us, but it's like I've never even seen the guy or met the guy. I have no idea. Like he could be sitting right next to me. I wouldn't know it. And so he's got like the cult following. He's got like the underground cult following. So it's like it's not like a massive following, but it's kind of like he's got his underground cult following. Like that's the best kind. Ruffalo's gonna get like all the side DMs. Like, wait to tell Mitch on the show.
You told him.
Jay's gonna get the same thing. You don't need to be with that guy. You should do your own thing.
Nah, I love it, man. I love
it. That's why we're here, man. It's like
Jay's never lived until he's gotten a message from Joe Thibault.
The best is, I gotta say, the best is like Rod about anything but game picks. He gets all mad, throws stuff on his desk.
Oh my God.
Gets all red. We're just laughing.
No,
I get so mad.
Like you'll get like the a-hole response if you try to ask. So what do you think about this? What do I think about this? I don't care about Piss off. That's what I think about this.
Colorado will challenge. I don't think UCLA is really in the discussion, and I'm not sure USC is either. I think it's Utah and Oregon in the Pac-12 this year. What did Oregon win in their game? I know they played like a Division II school. What did they win, Chris? 185 to nothing.
81-7 against
185-2.
I don't even think they got 2. I don't even think they scored 2.
It was 81-7.
Oh, 81-7. Who did they play?
Portland State.
Portland State? Portland State actually generally not that bad. They're generally not that horrible.
Yeah.
They've had NFL players. Neil Lomax, first-round draft choice out of Portland State. I believe so. I don't know, man.
Smash the like button for us, man. Appreciate all y'all.
Jay's got an afternoon show coming up starting tomorrow. He's going to have 3 guys on that I guess are going to agree with him more than Chris and I do. We're going to be relegated to the back row. Chris, are you going to be on Jay's show? I'm not invited. I was disinvited. He sent me the side message. And it's like, Colorado's winning 10. And you're disinvited from the show.
Wait, there was an email that was sent? I didn't get anything.
Whatever. Y'all are both definitely tagged in the email.
Jay, we were only tagged in the email because Jay felt that he had to tag us in the email.
Oh, okay. That's what it was.
Anyways, Jay's going to be going Monday. It's going to be like a recap of the weekend. Tuesday is going to have multiple guests. Wednesday will be our show with Big Al, NFL show. Thursday will be multiple guests. That'll probably follow our college football show. And then Friday, it's Jay, me, the Sauce, and the Prop Beaver and his underground following on both channels. Saturday mornings at 11, it's me and the Sauce, and I don't know who else is coming, but whoever we can gather up for college football. So at 11 a.m. on Saturday, pregame. I think Big Al said he's coming. Chris can come if he wants. Not Jay. Jay's gonna come in tomorrow sporting his 1988 Deion Sanders haircut.
like Jay, it's like all of a sudden Jay's not invited onto that Saturday show, so it's like he comes on with the Mr. Magoo glasses with the mustache. He changed his name to Ray Triggs or something like that.
The thing is that Jay would really have the moral dilemma if he actually lived in that era of the Deion Sanders era at Florida State. He would have had a big time dilemma because you had prime time at Florida State, and then you had all those Cowboys at Miami. So it was Jimmy Johnson, Michael Irvin, right? Michael Irvin and Deion Sanders always faced off. Deion always covered Michael Irvin, and Michael Irvin always roasted him. Always roasted him. The biggest touchdown in Miami history was Michael Irvin beating Deion Sanders to the post and at Tallahassee. It was unbelievable. That's when Sports Illustrated, which used to kind of be the magazine, the cover said, "My, oh my, Miami." It was woof. I think Jay's also going to learn. I think as the season goes on, and now at least that you're in it in college football, right? So it's what you're going to learn is after, when is it, Chris? Early October?
Ups and downs.
No, it's not just ups and downs, but early October, the games change. And kind of a lot of the stuff that you see now, the stuff that you saw last night, Florida State, LSU, and all that other stuff, it kind of all goes out the window. And these teams are built to play it's like in the NFL. If you play in Tom Brady's division, right? When Tom Brady ruled the roost in the AFC East, the Jets loaded up on defensive backs. The Dolphins, Darrelle Revis was their first round choice, and the Dolphins went first round there. It's they load up on the defensive backs. In college football, these teams are built to play against their rival. So Miami and Florida State are built to play one another. So that's why those games, they're always 1-point games. They're always between 1 and 3 points every single year. It's always tight. No matter who's good and who's bad. But anyways, you want to talk about a tight one. Got the Blue Jays traveling to Oakland to take on the A's. Don't laugh now, man. The A's trying to get out of the cellar. The Blue Jays trying to get out of their own way, but even after a trip to Colorado and really playing some poor baseball on Saturday, they kind of came out of it where they're kind of back in the wild card race because everybody's losing in the American League. So it's the same thing. I don't know, are the Marlins playing today? I don't think so, but it's the Marlins. We were casting them off. Jay's I think the Marlins might be done, right? My money Marlins, right? He's off the bandwagon, but here they are. If the season ended today, they're in. They won 4 in a row. Everybody else lost. It's there's going to be at least one one game
Baseball.
playoff in the National League. Going to be at least one.
Yeah. One thing I'm learning is baseball. I can't overreact too much. Can't overreact too much in baseball. It's a lot of ups and downs throughout the weeks. Teams be running.
Where do you see
red
these
hot.
rivalries, man, in college
They run
football?
red hot, then they just get cold. I don't know.
Oh, wait. Where do you see when Floyd or Rosedale sitting there on the sideline for a college football game, man? It's a whole different story. Chris, Floyd, one of your favorite trophies?
Yeah, I think so. It has to be. It has to be up there.
What's your favorite college football trophy, Floyd?
No,
The jug.
the jug.
The jug's good.
Yeah,
How about the axe? The axe is good.
I like the axe too.
I like
But
the axe.
think,
I like
I think,
the jug.
I think the jug's my favorite.
Yeah, the jug is great. That was Jerry Kill,
Yeah.
in the jug game. Like
What other ones?
3 years ago. What?
What other ones are there? I'm trying to.
Well, there's the Beehive boot.
Oh,
There's the
no,
there's the Land Grant Trophy, the Seminole Canoe. I mean, there's tons. The Shillelagh, right? USC and Notre Dame. There's there's a lot of them. But Floyd or Rosedale, you gotta love Floyd.
Yeah,
What's the
axe?
is
The
it?
axe was good.
Didn't Iowa State, they changed the trophy and then they had to change it back because it was like the new trophy was like so ridiculous that they changed it back. Like it was like they put some kind of like doll on top of the trophy, like, and covered it in gold. And it was like, it looked so stupid that they had to change the trophy again because they're playing this weekend for the trophy.
Yeah. There are certain ones that just look really stupid, but yeah, you can't mess with the jug or the axe.
Yeah, the axe is. I love the way at the axe game how they run over to the sideline.
Yeah.
The end of the axe game. If the clock hits 0, it's the dead sprint to the axe. They're running.
No handshakes. We just run.
No
straight
handshakes,
to the
man. They just run straight to the axe, man. It's like I think they do that in a lot of trophies. How about the keg of nails? I like the keg of nails. Cincinnati, Louisville.
I forgot about.
Yeah, the old keg of nails. It's like, and the bucket, the old oaken bucket, Purdue, Indiana.
That might be the one I was trying to think of.
Yeah, the bucket, but it has the chain that comes out. Like that.
Yeah.
Chain,
Okay. Yeah.
Like they're all.
Yeah.
Oh, and the egg bowl, of course, the egg.
The apple cup.
The apple cup and the egg bowl. Oh,
I still remember the egg bowl. Like, was it 2 years ago? Where the guy, it was, I think it was from Mississippi State, where he blew it because he scored the touchdown. He did the dog celebration where he lifted his leg on the goalpost.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie, I would do that.
Yeah. I like all that stuff. We got a lot of football to talk about. So
We do, man. It's here, man. I'm glad. I'm happy.
how we doing on time?
Oh, we are way over.
Yeah, one of those shows.
It is an 11-game card.
we might be touching two. We might end up touching 2 hours on an 11-game card.
Well, we got the A's and the Blue Jays and the A's. I don't even know whose turn it is. I think it's yours, Chris. No, it can't be.
I think it's Jay.
Jay.
I think it's Jay.
Jays.
So, man, yesterday, man, I don't think many people were probably sweating the Blue Jays yesterday like I was, but I sure was, because if y'all watched the morning show, they were the last leg of the parlay that I gave out, and they hit for us. So we cashed the parlay yesterday on the morning show, but man, was it a sweat yesterday in Colorado. But they got it done and did so on the run line. I think they win here again today. And I say just take them on the money line. I know that it's a high price. I understand. But here's my thought process, man. The Jays, and I keep saying this is the easiest stretch of baseball that they're going to play until they get to a stretch of baseball that's extremely tough. And they're currently on the outside looking in, and they have to take advantage of this stretch that they're in. Wildachuk is the best starting option for Oakland, and he has been pitching fairly decent recently, but I think the Jays prevail. I think they get the win. I'll be nervous to lay the run line because how well Wildachuk has pitched, but I'm going to just take the Blue Jays here straight up on the money line.
I'm going to roll with the A's in this one. I just think that the Blue Jays are just they've had their chances. I've said it so many times. It's like they need to do it now. They need to do it now. They need to do it now. And they haven't done it at any of those chances because they're just not good enough. I'm on the Waldichuk bandwagon here. He's my guy, and this is my team. I'm on the A's. You like that one, Chris? Jay, you like that one? It's my guy. This is my team. And, I'll throw in this one. We're going to beat them. Chris.
Hashtag we coming.
We coming. We coming.
That sounds like A material right there.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take the A's. I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna take them plus the 1.5. My concern here for the Blue Jays is that they're just coming from Coors Field, no day off, so could be a little bit of an offensive lag in between, at least for the opener of this series. Jays could probably win this one, but if they win this one, it's not going to be pretty. And Jose Barrios has not been pretty as of late either. I agree the Jays need to win this game. They need to basically win out the rest of this quote-unquote easy stretch that they have, but they've had that mentality so far since the stretch started, and they haven't swept. I think they've dropped 3 or 4 games so far, so I'll lean towards the A's plus the 1.5 here.
All right, I'm first in this one. D-backs, Los Serpientes, up against the Rockies. This is my YouTube comment special game. Thank me later on the D-backs. They got this one. Easy money. Then I get to come back after the game and say, I told you all the Diamondbacks were going to win. I got a minus 260 home favorite in this one with Merrill Kelly and his 3.31 ERA. Let me act like I've actually done something and take the D-backs, Los Serpientes. It's like, I'll fit right in the YouTube comments for this game because it's like, this is the ones, right? It's like, I knew the Diamondbacks were going to win. I told you guys. I took them money line. D-backs, ML. How about that? I'll put that in there too. I love it. Los Serpientes. Which I say now in my videos, which I can't even help myself. It's that time of the season.
I can't wait for my videos to get my comments back because, like he said, it's the funniest.
Oh, it's the best, man. It's like, we love you, we hate you. I always play his. I'm fading them. I'm just like, oh man. Yeah, Jay will be doing this week NFL Jam session, and then basically 6 or 7 weeks away from NBA Jam session.
That's crazy.
So Jay's going to be doing NFL Jam session, NBA Jam session, the morning show, and an afternoon live show. We got to find something for this guy to do. Diamondbacks money line for me. Thank me later.
Does that mean I finally shook the ball? Did I finally shake the ball hog tag?
I don't know. I think you guys. I think we got room for 2 ball hogs.
I've been trying to shake it for 2 years now. I finally saw my opportunity. Do not take my opportunity from me. I'm going to take the over 8.5 here. Merrill Kelly, he's got a 3.31 ERA, but he's been less effective at Chase Field this season. The Rockies at least get a couple runs off him here, but the Diamondbacks are just really hot right now. Tee off on Peter Lambert here. I think when all of a sudden then we get to 9-10 runs in this thing, so I'm going to take the over 8.5 here.
Diamondbacks run line for me, Los Serpientes. I think they do tee off on Peter Lambert. I think the Diamondbacks, this should be a bounce back spot for them at home. For some odd reason, the Diamondbacks really like playing well in the first game of series. I think that this is a spot where we see them go ahead and take this one. We saw them take the first one off the O's and then drop the next 2. But this should probably be a series where they can get pretty comfortable. The Rockies, we usually look to take them at home, not necessarily on the road. So I think this is a spot where the Diamondbacks kind of get to Peter Lambert. Kelly has a good game based off the team he's facing, and the Diamondbacks should win comfortably.
Told you. Told you. Told you. It's like I got this guy trolling me in the YouTube comments. The comments block him, and the YouTube just blocks his comments. It's like, you deleted my comments. Why? Because they were right? No, because you're giving out picks 7 hours after the game is over. It's like, we don't care, you know? We don't care about your comments. Definitely, I can all pick games after the games are over.
3,500, Travis Hunter, Heisman, Shador Sanders, 4,000. 100 on both.
That's like Tiger
That-
Woods to win the Masters.
100 on both.
Just
100 on
sucker
both.
bets.
100 on both.
I'm not gonna lie. I was on another screen when Jay just did that kind of grunt that he just did. That sounded really weird.
100 on both, though.
Sounded a little bit awkward. I'm a little uncomfortable at this point. We might want to issue a safety check on Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter right now.
I don't know, man. Travis should have had 2 touchdowns, 2 INTs. He had like 2 of those games. I think it's a great place to be. I don't know.
Jay's gonna get to the point where he's like, these guys can both win the Heisman. Co-Heisman winners.
Dual Heisman, I wouldn't put it past it. No, I'm playing. Los Serpientes.
Los Serpientes.
Mm-hmm.
This is a long one. Doesn't mean we're speeding up. Got the Rays and the Red Sox. Chris, this one's you. Right?
Oh boy, yeah. I'm gonna lean towards the Rays at home here. Aaron Savali's been pretty good since being acquired by the Rays, and while I do like Brian Bayo, he's just had some concerning starts for me lately. So getting hit around. The Rays, they still play their better baseball at home. Both teams definitely need the win, but I think the Rays still, they're right in the top of the AL East. So this isn't what I'm rushing to bet, but I'll lean towards the Rays in this one.
It's Bayo Day, man. Y'all know this is my guy. Y'all know I love fading the Tampa Bay Rays. Like, this is a Jade storm right here. But I'm going to be honest, I couldn't get there and take the Red Sox. I do lean in their direction. That is the pick right here for the show, but it didn't make my premium area like I think many people thought. And the reason for that is because the Rays have kicked the crap out of the Red Sox all season. The season series is 7-1. Savale has been pretty solid. The Marlins kind of got to him early in that game. Then he settled down and had a decent start from then moving forward. I really wanted to go sharp and take the Red Sox here, man. I know it's Bayo Day. I know I love Brian Bayo. But it's hard to want to take them with the Rays continuing to kick the crap out of the Red Sox and the Rays at home where they've been dominant all year.
Well, let's recap the last 13 games at Tropicana Field between the Rays and the Red Sox. Rays. I'll take the Rays.
Yep.
It really has been that simple.
It has.
13 in a row.
Kick the crap out of this team. And then, like I said, and it's 7-1, and that's not even just in Tampa. That's in Boston too.
How about the Reds? 9 in a row over the AL West, which is, if the season ended today, it's the only division that has 3 playoff teams. So arguably the toughest division in all of baseball. But the Reds absolutely own this division, and it's crazy. 9 in a row in the underdog role versus the West. It's woo. Who?
Who?
Woo. Chris, what are you doing? Oh, it's Jay's turn, right?
It's me.
Yep.
That's a Jay.
It's Jay.
Man, I had the Mariners as my player of the day yesterday, and I don't know what the hell happened. McGill actually looked fairly decent. Jorge Kirby just didn't, be very solid at his homecoming. I don't know. I don't know. And I would love to see the Mariners continue to lose, but I mean, I'm taking them here in this spot with my guy Wu. I like Wu a lot. I do think the Mariners are still playing the better baseball. I think the Mariners are the better team. I'm not really sure what to expect from this pitcher on the mound for the Reds. I'm curious to see what these two guys think of what he is. I'm really not sure, but I like Seattle here in this one. I think that they probably get right and continue to make this AL West a tight division moving forward.
I think it's the Reds' game to lose. They've owned the West in the underdog role. They just went over it. But I also think that the Mariners just haven't been playing the same, since the streak. I think the Reds get it done. It's like we see this all the time where teams, it just doesn't seem like they're playing all that well, and then you look at the standings and they're right there, and that's what the Reds and the Marlins have done. It's like the Reds were playing such exciting baseball earlier this season, and it's kind of tailed off, right? And De La Cruz hasn't really been the same guy as he was earlier this season, but it's like at the same time, the Reds are still right there. They haven't gone anywhere. Quietly going there. So that's usually where you find value, is on quietly. Like whoever's playing Colorado. Quietly. Matt Rule. He's never won it.
Yeah, only touchdown off a trick play against Minnesota, but okay.
Yeah. 13-2 in his last 15 college
I want you to
games
go
against
look
the
at
number.
that touchdown. That was, it shouldn't even have counted. It was like a bounce pass that hit the ground and the guy caught it like a fumble and then threw it. Nebraska's terrible.
Rivalry game. Anyways, it's a big time old. They used to play, that used to be a Friday after Thanksgiving game. Colorado, Nebraska was always like a end of the season, last game of the season. And it's just that they're in the different conferences now. But it was always last game of the season, Colorado, Nebraska. Chris, what do you got in this one?
I'm gonna lean towards the over here as well as Seattle. Brian Boone's actually pitched better on the road, but my concern with Seattle and why it's only a lean is because you put Woo in a hitter friendly ballpark like Great American, anything can really happen to him. But the Mariners are hitting well right now, and I think if this is a bullpen game for Cincinnati, the Reds bullpen hasn't been very good, and I think it's just a high scoring game. So I'm gonna take the over, lean towards Cincinnati.
Chris likes the Reds. Matches his neck.
What?
All right. Twins and the Guardians. I don't know. This is me. We got Giolito on the mound for the Guardians. His third team in this season. Third team in this month. Up against Pablo Lopez, who's terrible. I gave this out in the parlay video, and I got some pushback, which makes me really like it. So I'm going to go with the over in this one. I think that Pablo Lopez, I trust him 0. And Giolito, well, he sucks. So I'm going to take the over in this one. I could see a lot of runs being scored. And also, like I said, I gave it out in the parlay video and got a lot of pushback on it in the comments, which is generally a very good sign. Thank me later. Take the over.
I'm going to take the Twins here. I really like the Twins in this matchup. I think, Lucas Giolito, you can take him out of, a bunch of different teams, but the reality is the problems remain the same with the actual pitcher. Home runs in bunches. The Twins are trying to hit righties well again. And Pablo Lopez, while he's had his issues, he's been a lot better on the road, and the ERA under 3. And Cleveland, I don't think Cleveland's offense will be able to pick up Lucas Giolito if and when Giolito gets lit up. So I'm going to go with the Twins here on the money line.
Mitch takes the Giants every day, takes the White Sox every day. I take the Rangers every day. and I fade the Twins every day. I'm taking the Guardians. I actually like, they played pretty decently over the weekend against Tampa, and I think we kind of see some of that momentum roll forward. I know they lost that last one. Giolito, he's a fade. He is a fade. He's an absolute fade. But so is Pablo Lopez in my book. And what can go wrong always goes wrong for the Twins, and they're out here on the road where they really struggle. I think the value's on the Guardians in this one. Getting plus money here. Hopefully Giolito doesn't Giolito me, and he just gets it to the bullpen. I'm taking the Guardians in this one.
Yeah, the Guardians just swept the Twins in Minnesota last week. Chris, Pirates against the Brewers.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Brew Crew here. I like Corbin Burns, and I should say I like him in this spot. The Brewers still trying to lock up the division. The Pirates, they've been playing well in spots, but this is a team that's sort of just counting down the days for the season to end. They're trying to play spoiler here and there, but I just think the Brewers need this one more. They're in the thick of the division race right now, trying to lock up the NL Central. And this is a spot where you need your ace to step through and get the job done for you. The Brewers looked pretty good in that series against the Phillies for falling short on Sunday, so I'm going to take the Milwaukee Brewers in this one.
Yeah. Let me see something. I'm on the Brewers in this one as well. I'm a little nervous about laying the run line, though, as this has been a competitive series, kind of, as like the Brewers lead the series this year 7-3. But a few of those wins were just one-run wins. So with that being said, I would not be surprised if this turned out to be that. But I do think the Brew Crew get this dub here behind Corbin Burns. This team has really turned it on here in the second half of the season. They did just drop their last one and have lost 3 of 5, but I think they get right here against the Pirates. So just Brew Crew money line.
It's a tough one. The Brewers, I had to get up to send a file to somebody, believe it or not, because the show ran long. I was supposed to send it earlier, and that's why I had to get up. So people were wondering where I went. I got my other desk is over there on the other end of the studio with a whole other computer setup. But anyways, the thing is the Brewers in Milwaukee actually own the Pirates, but in Pittsburgh, it's not 100% the other direction, but the Pirates have a winning record on the other side of it. I think this one's going to probably be a decent game, but it's Corbin Burns, and the Brewers need it most. They screwed me yesterday, but I'm going to take them here. Who did you guys take? I didn't hear you.
Well, took Brewers.
We all took Brewers. So Brewers at Pirates. All Brewers. Easy enough. All right. We've got Colorado against Nebraska. Jay, what do you think of this?
Well, I think no.
Shakur Sanders really not on his game, but I think he may find some answers. It's like Hunter is like a little bit overrated, but yeah, we're gonna make that big roast stale fast.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, wait a minute. Is this the right game? Yeah, it is. Who's up?
Is it me?
Yep.
I'm in it between a rock and a hard place, man. I hate when this happens, man, where I have both my guys going up against each other, man. Damn. My man Rich Hill and my man Taijuan Walker. But y'all know where I'm at, man. I'm on the Philadelphia Phillies and my guy Taijuan, who has been absolute money this year, man. We have not seen second half Walker yet. And hopefully we don't see him rear his head, man. He's been absolute money recently. The Padres have been the Padres. Eric broke it down perfectly for me yesterday on the morning show. You've lost more money betting the Padres than any other team in baseball other than the Kansas City Royals. That's the only team that you've lost more money betting on than the Padres. And they're still on the daily priced as if they're a good team. And this team is now 8 games below 500, playing pretty terrible. I'm taking the Phillies here, who bounced back yesterday, and I think stack another win behind Taiwan, who has stacked a lot of wins recently.
I'm going to take the Phillies also. I just hate the Padres. I can't do it. There's nothing there. I think these teams are really similar, except the Phillies have actually come through, with their big payroll, and the Padres haven't. I think these teams are really, really similar. You know what teams I think are similar, Chris? You'll like this one. Tampa Bay Rays and the Patriots. I mean, I'm not saying like the Rays have had that kind of success like the Patriots have had, but very, very similar, right? Kind of like they don't have like all the star players. They don't have all that stuff. They kind of just next man up, do your job.
Yeah.
They kind of just go through it, right? It's like nothing seems to really bother them all that much.
Nothing flashy, just
kind of just get there. But anyways, these teams both don't fit in that category. I'm taking the Phillies. Chris, what do you got?
I'm going to take the Phillies as well. Philadelphia 19-5 in Taiwan Walker's last 24 starts. I think they just get it done here. I'm not a Rich Hill guy. He's 4 or 5 inning guy at best. Padres bullpen hasn't been great, and the Padres are just so inconsistent at the plate that makes it hard to back them here. I'll take the Phillies in this one.
Last but not least, we made it. See?
They stuck with us too, as we did it.
Yep, that's good.
Yeah.
Angels and the Orioles. It's me. I'll take the Orioles in this one. I'm just going to keep it simple. I really don't like the Angels or anything to do with them. I just think the organization is an absolute mess from top to bottom. I think they made some horrific moves when it came to salary and signing Rendon to that giant deal. Basically, when you do that, you're top heavy, and it seems that these guys, the players that they pour the most money into are the ones that play the least. And then their pitching sucks, and re-sucks. And for a team that puts this much money into it, it's not like there are some of these teams that just don't even try or don't put money into it and kind of go through the motions. Not the case, man. Not the case at all. I'm disappointed in each and every one of them. I'm taking the Orioles, who Eric Pathy wants us to give a little love to because he feels that we've slighted the Orioles on his shows and that all of our handicappers on all of our shows have slighted the Orioles. Didn't you hear him yesterday? It was like, what?
Yeah, he was letting me have it.
Yeah.
Has he watched the shows? Because I'm pretty sure we've all loved the Orioles for much of the season.
It's because he's mainly on the weekend show, and I
okay, fair enough. Yeah, you gotta know that you gotta know your material. You gotta tune into the morning.
Right.
I'm gonna go with the Orioles here as well. Grayson Rodriguez looks like a completely different pitcher since rejoining the Orioles rotation at the All-Star break. The Angels just look like a team that's waved the white flag. Looks like a bullpen game for LA, and the bullpen's been one of the weakest in baseball. The last month, this whole season. So give me the Orioles on the run line in this one.
You ever wave a flag, Chris? You ever just wave a flag?
I did, but then my arms start to hurt, and then I gave up. I was like, no.
Flag waver.
Yeah.
O's for me too. I'm not touching the Angels. The Angels are atrocious. Yeah, short, sweet, simple. O's. Money line, parlay, and then run line too, because they should beat up on this team.
So for my YouTube comment parlay, I love the Orioles parlayed up with the Diamondbacks.
I told you my parlay was cool.
Told you, man. Told you.
Even that's like even money too.
Probably or less. It could be. You have to give them money to do it. All right, that brings us to that time of the show. We actually made it. It only took us. Whoa, we didn't. We're not a record breaker as far as time.
Really?
It might be the record for a 12 game card, but definitely not the record for time and distance. Well, we're not done yet. We still got time to drag this thing out. Chris, what do you got?
All right, my parlay today going to be the Kansas City Royals, the Chicago Cubs, and Clemson in the football game.
Let's go back to back, man. We cashed on the parlay yesterday. Let's go back to back. We're gonna start it off with plus money. We're going with the Guardians. We're gonna take the Baltimore O's. We're gonna take I want one more plus money. Is there anything out there? There's not. So then, the Red Sox. Beautiful. Red Sox, Guardians. Yep.
Diamondbacks, Astros, and Orioles for me. Thanks everyone for joining us. Make it a winning day. We appreciate each and every one of it. Good, solid crowd today. We're building through the week, and watch out in the afternoon for all those NFL shows. I'm not sure what time the NFL show with the sauce is on Friday, but I think it's 4 p.m. I think our show with Big Al is at 3. Last year we did it at 3. By the time we got done talking behind the scenes, it would be 3:30. But I think it's going to be 3:30 on Wednesdays, and then we'll figure out the rest.
Yes, sir.
Make it a winning day. I'm going to try and act more professional tomorrow.